we are going to end this course with a survey of different ways you can ask kids to respond to anything they're reading, anything they're learning. There are so many ways for them to show the things that they're learning, and it's important that we remember the two hands. They need to show us what they know and how they know it. To demonstrate that knowledge, those concepts going in, the first way is free writing using a structure. The students could take any of these structures and let the structure guide them in showing what they know about the subject they're talking about. These are the basics. You could shop through the structures that we have and take a look and see what would work best for your content area. This is the basic every math question. What I know, what I don't know, steps I'm taking to find out, and is that successful? These some teachers use as bookmarks. One teacher invented this one. She said her kids like to use it. There are some other ways to respond to reading, and one is QA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a dialogue. You practice this with kids using a question like, is it hot outside? Something that they already know, just to practice the dialogue. It trains them to listen to what they're saying and answer to a question, because our ears know if they're answering somebody's question. It works for any open-ended question. That means any question that's not a yes or a no. Cubing with info shots is another wonderful way. Ask students to write for a little short period of time on each of these questions about some object, like this one. Silver wrote about pancakes from Jim's. You can see on the left-hand side the categories that she was asked to write about. You could ask students to do timed writing or just pick some of these sentences and fill in the blanks. Like this, about a paramecium. Then after you have them write some sentences, if they combine them together, they have a paragraph all about a paramecium. This page from The Story of My Thinking gives the directions for the cubing exercise, which you could transform into this text structure if you wanted this to turn into an essay with well-developed and different paragraphs in the middle. Of course, you could take any of the strategies that you've learned and use them with any kind of content, like bada bing sentences. Remember bada bings, what your feet were doing, what your eyes saw, and what you thought. So you could apply that to anybody that you're reading about. Like if you're studying the American Revolution and you'd like a student to write a bada bing, maybe at the end of class, like an exit slip, and show from the point of view of somebody in that scenario what they experienced during one of those days you were reading about. And here's an example. Here's a bada bing from someone in a science lab or a math class. You could also have kids do what I call a 3 things response, in which they write 3 things they notice, 3 things they wonder, significant vocabulary, and the best line illustrated. For instance, lunch, or any experience at all. They could do this. It just takes 10 minutes or so for them to show you plenty of information about what they experienced. And finally, one-liners. Here's the template. I like to have kids keep templates in their storage areas, whatever that is. For me, it would be in the backs of their journals. This has 5 steps. You pick a line from something somebody said and turn it into a little cartoon with a word bubble. Underneath it is a paraphrase in parentheses. The thought bubble shows subtext, what they're thinking. The dramatic analysis at the bottom, the caption, explains what's going on in that situation. And finally, the imaginative autobiography. It has the speaker saying all about their life, just like any autobiography. And part of it comes from context clues, but part of it comes from the student's own imagination. Here are the steps. These come from Barry Lane's Reviser's Toolbox. Let's try out this question. You could free write with a structure or use any of these 5 that we just looked at. There's QA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Info shots. Bada bing. Three things response. Here's a one-liner. This page shows the 5 ways to respond to reading that we just looked at, drawn up like text structures. There are the steps to help students show you what they know and how they know it.